Hello again and welcome back, you creatures that dart from shadow to shadow. Let's play another Skaven turn. It's turn number 29. Once again, quite a lot of messages. Let's just go through these. I just want to have a look at some of these names because the players from Ruby Discord are quite well known for doing kind of silly and funny names. I don't go in for it myself, but it's always fun to watch them. So Horny Skink Twinks in your area is the Saurus Scar veteran for the Lizardmen. It's about to get scaly. And here we go. A throne being claimed by Real Men Wear Pink. That's, of course, the Zharr-Naggrund goddess. So those are nice to see. So we've got some more Bloodslaves coming in, and we've got an assassination. Gutter King. It's going after Sigmar's perfectly manicured, and we'll have to click on him to get the rest of that. Sigmar's perfectly manicured nails. And he's just a general, but hopefully he's leading a few troops. So if you recall, the plan here is just to spam Animate Skeleton and overwhelm him with numbers. Nothing else going on. We're not going to do any of the fighting ourselves. We're just going to throw skeletons at him. Hopefully that's just going to be too many for the general to get through. So we're going to speed things up. So that's 2 already. He's not managed to pick any off. Or he's got rid of 1, but he's not getting ahead of the creation of them. And he is slowly going to be building up fatigue and taking damage. Yeah, so at this point I'm pretty confident he is totally doomed. Can't break through that many skeletons. He's just getting overwhelmed and he's going to eventually get chopped up. It's going to take them a while because he's got quite a bit of protection, even with that fatigue building up. They don't hit super hard. Just zoom to the end of this. Yep, they chase him off, and retreat from assassination means death. So that's 1 general gone. Then we've got Dark Elves taking another bit of province defense, some free infantrymen, and Ogres fighting against Tilea. This is interesting. So I knew that they had entered into a battle, but I was kind of unaware of what had. I haven't seen any of the battles from it. Apparently Tilea staled their last turn, as in they didn't take a turn at all last turn, so their troops were just standing around. So it may be that the Ogres were expecting these troops to have moved out the way, so they just sent in a mage with some bodyguards. Bit of a strange tactic. But yeah, they've got some crossbowmen, they've got one of their Regiment of Renown leaders, Wusong the Tiger Fighting Hero, and he's got a whole description you can read if you want. He gets 2 bandits every turn. Bandits are these guys, the Drunken Bandits. But yeah, basically crossbows and a handful of infantry against these ogres which are going to be buffed up by the Slaughtermaster. Yeah, a bit of a strange one. Let's just zoom through this. So the ogres will do fine against the infantry arriving. They're getting hit by some of the crossbow bolts. The Slaughtermaster's got hit but is regenerating. He's got his bless. He's given them extra strength, but there's loads of phantasmal warriors building up now because there's a mage there. This is a very weird fight, isn't it? Maybe eventually... Oh, Troll Guts. Okay, so now these guys will have regeneration, so they're going to be very difficult for the crossbows to kill. But they keep getting hit by crossbows, they'll eventually rout because they're a small squad. Yeah, they've routed and left their Slaughtermaster behind, and he's completely fatigued out, so he is doomed. Yep, along they come. Whoosh. Just going to press N a few times to skip through these rounds. Yeah, and they kill him. Oh, wow. Wusong on 2 hit points there after getting hit by some Heavenly Vengeance. Then we've got a Dark Elf battle in Valrest. That's just fighting some more province defense, more or less. Oh, and a couple of wizards. Let's have a quick look at this fight. So, a handful of chaff against and a couple of wizards. How do they manage to kill any of these guys? Maybe the wizards are going to do something? Body ethereal. Maybe some flying shards got some of them? I'm really not sure. Anyway, they got destroyed. So the presence of these Marauder Hellstriders means that the Dark Elves have got a cult of Slaanesh set up, because that's how they end up recruiting those. So that's interesting to know. Yeah, they're pretty useful. But yeah, lots of strong medium cavalry still, and the, I think, rather overpowered Doomfire Warlocks. We've benefited in this war from a couple of things that are quite overpowered. The Dark Elves doing really well and destroying all of Altdorf's stuff was I think the Doomfire Warlocks are a bit too good, and of course we are benefiting from, I would say, at least kind of double the amount of gems that we should be getting from Warpstone Seams. They're just happening too often, and they're not, given that they don't close down terribly fast. I shouldn't have that many, so yeah, this is a bit of a balance concern, but I will address that in a future update. And then we've got our battle in Altdorf. So I really didn't send very much to Altdorf at all. I've got a Vermintide spammer, and I've got a kind of a handful of Skaven. Really nothing here. And we can see what they've got. So this is actually really interesting because this is, I think, basically all of their mages. They were revealing pretty much everything they had, and this is fewer mages than I thought they had. I really thought they had more than this, but maybe they've been losing them in wars. They've got a bunch of light wizards who are basically Astral 2 mages, and they're kind of casting body ethereal and joining a big communion. They've got Thyrus Gorman, of course. They've got a little bit of cavalry, including Sigmar's Rockhard Thighs, which is Brent the Flamen, the Grandmaster of the Blazing Sun. And they've got an Amber Wizard Lord and an Amethyst Wizard in there. So this is basically everything they've got, and a tiny amount of province defense, I think. In fact, they may not have any province defense. No, I don't think they do. Perhaps they don't have enough gold income because they have all these mages still, and they only have their capital, so it's not producing enough gold. So yeah, Fire Elementals destroy giant rats. This is their front line, these Fall Bears, which are ethereal, big chunky bags of hit points who have no protection, so when they do get hit, they die. Yeah, so it's interesting to see what they have anyway, and we've also sent enough stuff that we've triggered gem usage, so Thyrus Gorman has burned through a few more fire gems. And doesn't look like we lost something. Is he going to get away? The last Pestilence Priest? Yes, he does. So we lose very, very little there. Some Storm, yeah, just nothing basically. And they lose 2 Fall Bears. That's actually not a bad trade, and it's good because it raises a bit of unrest in their capital and tells us what they have. Keeps them honest. It also means that they're likely to just keep all of that stuff patrolling rather than going back inside to research or summon anything, because they know I'm going to just keep attacking them. And then we've got the fight at the fortress at Mornwoods. This is a real simple one. We have a couple of flamethrowers. They have their Grandmaster remaining, who could hit our god somewhat hard, but is not really a big threat. Hasn't got any extra items, and some crossbows. So basically, the flamethrowers will fire at the wall defenders and the crossbows, and the god will come rolling in. So let's just see what happens. Flamethrowers just keep missing the crossbows. That's a bit annoying. Ooh, god took a couple of hits there. So didn't pick up an affliction, but took a fairly sizable whack there. Let's have a look. Tons of crossbows hitting them, and yeah, if enough crossbows hit you, then they will happily get past your protection, even if it's very high, and do some damage. That's because they fired basically point blank at her. So I'm very glad that I have 30 protection, 31 head, 30 body, because otherwise I would have taken quite a whack there. Anyway, now that she's in melee, she's going to soon rout them, and the flamethrowers are starting to hit them too. Let's see if she can get the Grandmaster in one hit. Wham, he's gone. That's very cool. She's taken the head of a Grandmaster of an Empire Order. She's taken the head of a Duke. I think there's a few other fairly significant things she's managed to kill. She's killed some Grail Knights, I know that. So, well done that god. And then these guys run out of ammo and run up on the walls to fight the wall defenders. So, I don't know if they're going to blow up. Let's just skip through this. Good lord. See, this was a slightly dangerous thing to happen. Oh, they've killed one and they're all fleeing now. Okay. And the other one's got killed. So I lose my flamethrowers, but whatever. Probably should have just sent the god in on their own, but that's more interesting to me. Trolls attacked Norfangs, which is what we expected, so let's see how we do in that battle. Another Warpstone Seam. Lost a bit of income. Worldwide misfortune still? Yeah, it's the Throne of Misfortune. Doesn't matter to us, so that's nice. Yeah, battle in Norfangs. So, decent squad of trolls, which are basically tough things which generate that hit very hard but aren't very skilled, and a war troll, which is quite a bit nastier because it's got high protection and regeneration. They've got protection 15, so much more whackable. They're also all vulnerable to fire. And so, if you remember what I sent before, it's just some chaff and a flamethrower, but I also, after I finished doing the video, decided to send in the guy to summon big fire elementals, just in case. So I don't predict that this is going to be a problem. I think even without the fire elementals I would have been fine, because trolls are good, but they do, you know, like this troll here is just going to get chopped up. Once you're in melee, the trolls don't have a fantastic defense or protection or repel really, so they just get chopped up eventually. Oh, they're doing better than I thought. Their repel, you can see them, their animation twitching as they repel things. But around here, our Skaven are doing a lot better. They got round the back, and the fire elementals are actually roasting these trolls rather nicely. This one's just been set on fire and is going to die. Yeah, so I am pretty glad that I sent those fire elementals. But yeah, resounding victory there. The war troll takes a while to kill, but he is gone. So what did we lose? A clan rat and 4 Skaven slaves, nothing, and I think 3 fire gems that we spent, but that's fine. Okay, and then we've got lots of patrolling of getting rid of the unrest in our various bits of our empire. This province has really been chewed up. It never really had a high population, but with the constant patrolling and a brigand lair, that's, yeah, losing population fast. So this turn, I have decided to spend most of my income, well actually a sizable amount of it rather, is on building a temple and then of course just hiring mages. Haven't really hired much in the way of troops. And I am moving everything onto the capital of Altdorf. I'm not terribly frightened of what they've got in there. I know they're casting like Mind Burn, things like that. Yeah, not too worried about it. I think my god will be fine. And my plan is basically a huge array of troops on attack rear and swarming in the middle, just kind of holding everything up and attacking them, trying to get back to get those mages at the back. But my real plan for getting the mages at the back is I've got Skitterleap, which is, you know, the gift of flight basically, and I've got some mages casting Skitterleap in this big block of troops, which is where are they? Here they are, Council Guard. So several of them are going to be getting flying, and they're on hold and attack rear, so they'll fly off and attack the rear. I'm also using Skitterleap to give my god flying, because there wasn't a lab in the fort, so I can't give her the boots of flying yet. I've given the boots of flying to a mage, who's going to fly in with those boots to cast, here we are, Summoning Earth Elemental. No, that's not the one. Where are you? Sorry about this. I will find them. Maybe not. Did I not? I made a mistake here. Possibly. Yeah, let me pause this while I'm going to just pause here. Sorry, I was being blind. Here they are, Kankatoot. Yeah, flying in, and they've got some death gems. They're going to be casting Corpse Candle. So I'm casting Corpse Candle and Will-o'-the-Wisp because they come in from the edge of the battlefield rather than the middle of my side of the deployment zone. And I'm hoping that they'll distract mages and maybe get in and distract some fire elementals and things as well. Basically just causing some chaos so I can get those mages at the back. So yeah, that's the idea there. But my god's being given flying, and I'm hopefully giving flying to this Bane as well, who's set off to fly after fire elementals and whack them. I might actually change that to be attack rear, because it would be better if they just went and got some mages. Yeah, that's the basic plan. It's the standard stuff, lots of chaff. I have to send a lot of actually good troops, but a lot of them are either on guard commander or staying at the back to kind of slow down how quickly our side ends up routing. Lots of stuff trying to get around on the flanks and attack rear. I'm basically just hoping to get to those mages, and just sheer weight of numbers is going to do the trick, I think. But I've got quite a lot of mages here helping me with various things. And the flying, you know, flying god, flying bane, I think that might be quite useful in taking them out. I've also got Gutterking doing another assassination, not sure if that's going to land or not. And yeah, that's the big plan, take Altdorf. Having taken this fort, I can now recruit more assassins from it. They've burned down the lab at the temple. The temple gets destroyed, of course. But I will rebuild those. I'll build the temple first so I can start blood sacrificing, because if this goes wrong, and they are proving very difficult to dig out of their capital, which I don't think will be the case, but if it is, I could just try and kill them by taking their dominion off the map entirely through blood sacrifice and preaching, because I've got so much control over their territory. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Elsewhere, I am recruiting much the same stuff you've seen me recruiting many times. Trying to build up my blood hunting corps again, because I've had to send lots of them away to take part in this fight and do summon imps, which is I think an important part of the strategy. But I'm really committing as much as I can. It is very bad if you cannot quite finish an enemy off, like when they're just down to their capital and they're proving really hard to get past, really hard to siege the walls, really hard to finish off that rock hard mage corps they have left at the end. And I really just want to get this over with, wipe Altdorf out, and then I can look at what I'm doing next. which I think will be trying to maintain peace for a little bit while I kind of build some thugs and things like that, and maybe go towards a global or something. Really concentrating on infrastructure and research. And then I'm going to want to take some thrones, I think, because I've only got the one. But we shall see. Yeah, there's really not that much else to look at the moment. I'm kind of hoping to stay roughly just focusing on Altdorf until that's finished. And we can see how this hopefully very big battle goes next turn. Thanks for watching. Hello again. A very quick addendum to the previous turn is I just wanted to note something which is quite significant, which is that I've been looking through my various population types, the indie troops I can recruit, and I finally have an independent mage I can get, which is the Deer Tribe Shaman. I really want to have Nature 1. I don't have it at all otherwise. It will give me some site searching. It will allow me to make some items that are quite important. I can alchemize the nature gems. So this is fantastic. I do need a lab and a temple in the province, but yeah, finally got one. Right on the edge of my empire. It's very strange that with all of these provinces, this is the first one I've found that's like a tribal province where I can get a independent mage. That's very cool. So I've renamed the scout there Deer Tribe to remind myself. Okay, on to the next turn. Let's have a look at turn number 30 of my Skaven game. So we've got research and enchantment is completed. That's up to level 3, and then construction level 5 we also have. So we can build doom wheels now if we want, although they require fire 2, earth 2, so they're a little bit tricky to make. I'll have to equip up some warlocks to do that. We've got a few more blood slaves, and we have an assassination. Finally, we're getting a wizard that's a bit more manageable, the Jade Wizard. So this is our skeleton spamming Eshin Assassin taking on a Jade Wizard who's got low paths and, a variety of paths. He's probably going to do okay because he's casting self buffs, quicken self, like that. Let's just put it on fast and watch. So he's got quicken self, temper flesh. Temper flesh, if you don't know, fists of iron just blast one of the skeletons. Temper flesh gives you blunt, pierce, and slash resistance, which halves the damage coming from those. So it's very strong as a buff. But his problem is he's fatiguing out, and as much as he is killing these skeletons, it's not going to be quick enough because they cost very little in the way of fatigue. I think it's encumbrance ×2 from the Eshin Assassin, so he's going to get overwhelmed, inevitably. But he's made a good account of himself. So that's one Jade Mage gone. And then we've got events, lost a Warpstone Seam, gained a Warpstone Seam, and lost a Warpstone Seam. 6 fire gems, that's always nice. Lost some money there on the Verdant Steppe, and that's one of my more money-making provinces, so that's not great. And then in White Peaks, this is fantastic, 290 gold, lovely. And we've breached the entrance to Altdorf because we've got a massive stack of troops sitting there. Oh, I forgot to show you the battle before I went announcing that, but yeah, obviously we won the battle. But let's watch it. So on my side, absolutely huge amount of stuff. If you remember, my plan was casting a Skitterleap up here, and then Skitterleaping these storm vermin over the top. Hold some stuff back to avoid a potential side route. And down here, more Skitterleaping, give my god flying, and potentially give this Bane flying. Out here, there's summoning some elementals and casting to attack from the edges of the battlefield, corpse candles and wisps. And Altdorf have brought a big communion of astral mages with a astral master there. Sigmar's perfectly sloped neck. They've got some funny attitudes towards Sigmar. And they've got the Grandmaster and then Great Bears, which aren't very worrying at all, really, and Fall Bears, which are somewhat worrying, but not really. And then they've managed to get some heavy cavalry together. So let's just see what goes off at the start of the fight. So we see the Skitterleaps going off, summon Earth Powers, bit of weapons team fire coming over the top. The charge of the Knights is going to pretty much crash into worthless things. Will-o'-the-Wisps getting cast. So far, let's concentrate a bit on the back. So we've got Will-o'-the-Wisps coming in here at the edge of the battlefield. That's great because that's going to distract these mages. In come the Imps, another part of our strategy, just hurling Imps. And it's great they've gone for the people at the back. That's very nice for us. And in come those flying storm vermin. You will notice as much as there's tons of imps, corpse candles and will-o'-the-wisps attacking their back ranks, and they have been extremely damaged at this point. Loads of their mages have been killed by my council guards rather. But you will notice my god and the bane are not there, and that's because they didn't skitter-leap them. They skitter-leaped themselves, but they didn't actually manage to get my god. I think they maybe just missed when they cast it, but that's okay. So neither the bane nor the god get to join the attack on the back. But basically, yeah, we just managed to get loads of stuff right at the back of their formation, so they really don't stand much of a chance at all. Even got an earth elemental coming in and doing a bit of the fighting for us. Now, we used a lot of gems, because we weren't sure what they were going to have. There's lots of gems being burnt here, earth elementals, imps, corpse candles, will-o'-the-wisps. A serious effort, but we are making very sure that not very much of stuff escapes either. Although, ooh, Amber Wizard Lord just escaped. Brent de Flamen is the last man alive, I believe, and he is now dead. So that's it. Oh, we get an imp flying out there right at the very end. So let's look at the casualties. Clan rats, fine. 3 council guard, yeah. A Doomflare team, okay. 3 gutter runners, 2 night runners, 4 storm vermin. I mean, fine. I don't mind about any of that. It's okay. We burned more than these troops are worth in gems, to be honest. We killed Amethyst Wizard, 7 Light Wizards, the Light Wizard Lord, the Grand Master. The Grand Master of the Night's Griffin managed to escape, the Amber Wizard Lord managed to escape, and then we killed all their troops and their summons. Some of our stuff retreated, because they're Skaven, something's always going to run away. Yeah. Another interesting piece of news is we saw Tilea were fighting the Ogres, but also now it seems that Zharr-Naggrund is attacking them. This is a very minor thing, just a little probe. But let's watch in case we get to see any of their research being employed. So they've got a mage here. So they've got a tight cluster of troops. Air shield, nothing interesting there. Has he got any gems? Nope. See, the paths there are pretty good. Put this on fast forward. So it looks like they're on hold and attack, twist fate, lightning bolt. So they have got air evocation. That seems to be where they've gone. So something to bear in mind, if we end up fighting with Zharr-Naggrund, we're going to need shock resistance. So that's pretty much all the messages. Let's have a look at what I'm planning this turn. So because I now have my enchantment, I am, of course, casting Create Revenant, and I think I'm casting it in 4 different places. There's 2 there, 1 in my cap, and 1 over here. So that's 4 Revenants. They're going to be holding a lot of these research items, freeing my mages up. And of course I'm going to summon more next turn. I've got a Skull Staff, and that'll be given to one of the Revenants to summon more Revenants, and so on. Oh, we've got 2 there as well. Right, 2 there. Oh, sorry, I already counted that. Of course, we've taken the fort over here, but it doesn't have a lab. We already built a temple, but we're going to build a lab, so that's where a lot of our money this turn went. Meanwhile, we're recruiting more assassins. And our assassins, because they can't really help with Altdorf and I'm not currently at war with anyone else, they're going to go off to enemy capitals and do infiltrate, which is going to give me their mundane score graphs. I'm also, just because I've never actually done this before and I'm interested in it, I'm going to cast Akashic Record, which I think gives me all graphs on Izta, because I'd like to know some things about how strong their research, etc. is. Just to show you what Akashic Record is, it's a 2 astral spell, costs 10 gems. So this isn't a very good idea, this isn't a very efficient use of these pearls. I don't have a huge number of them, but I just think it's interesting and I thought I'd show you. So Akashic Records find a history for one nation, spell must be targeted on a capital, and it's got a range of 10, so huge range. Yeah, so I've just targeted it on Izta, and then I might also use it on another nation, I'm not sure. We'll see what information it gives. Now, because I'm going to have to storm Altdorf, I'm also forging a pair of smashers. And smashers, if we have a look at them, and they're commonly confused with dwarven hammers because of their almost identical graphic. Sometimes people accidentally make smashers and then get very annoyed by that. So smashers are hard-hitting bludgeoning weapons, which is good because the Statue of Order has pierce and slash resistance and very high protection. And quite a lot of hit points too. It's a big inanimate statue after all. But more importantly, they do 20 armor negating damage on inanimates, which is exactly what a big statue is. So if we have those 2 and stick them on, particularly something that can fly over there and smack that statue in the face, or in the base, he's going to take a lot of damage. So those smashers are going to be useful for that, and they're more generally useful if anyone's running inanimates. Yeah, it's just nice to have them. But I really want to kind of go overkill there and make 2 of them. It's fine. Possibly my god will be using them. My god is currently out of their dominion, so yeah, they might be the one coming back to use the smashers to take Altdorf. Basically, I don't want to send them in because out of their dominion, their magic resistance goes down and their hit points are just a bit low. So what I want to do is fly them over to somewhere with high dominion using the boots of flying, get their hit points to go up, and then if they need to, they can fly back if there's been any breakouts, they need to do anything here. And meanwhile, we're going to try and get the dominion score to go up here. We're going to push out the dominion of Altdorf. So Sigmar's dominion up here, you can see 5 there. There's 5 here, and in the cap they've got 3. So it's going to take us quite a long time to push all this dominion out. If we were trying to dominion kill Altdorf, it would be a slow process, but I don't really plan on doing that. What I am going to do this turn is just do a probe of the castle by storming it with just 1 commander. Just have a look at what they've got in there, and have a look at that statue of order. So a lot of my stuff's moving off the cap, it's sneaking off. I'm sending priests out to all of these provinces to do a bit of preaching, possibly build temples and do blood sacrifices, I'm not sure. And yeah, getting the rest of my blood sacrificing going back, and lots of my mages are now returning down here because there's going to be a lab there. You can get back to doing research, rituals, forging, etc. And I'm just leaving a force here to breach in the case of these guys, and to keep it under siege. Next turn, if I'm not very worried by what I see, I might send in a force to crack it, but I doubt it. I think it's going to be a probe this turn, maybe a stronger probe next turn to do something specific like burn some gems, and then the turn after that I'll probably have moved forces back in with a specific loadout ready to take that fort. But I don't want to rush it because I don't want to end up losing lots of stuff to some stupid failed attempt to kill a giant invincible statue. I'm also just feeling completely in control of Altdorf at the moment. I'm not too worried. I don't want to dawdle in taking the capital, but I'm able to wait a few turns. It's fine. No real aggression coming in from anyone else. I'm doing still recruiting these guys, hoping to get one with an Earth random, but having got a Astral 3-1 there is very nice. And elsewhere, I'm just recruiting, getting some more Grey Seers because I've got the chance of. It's my best chance of getting a Death 3, giving them a Skull Staff to get to Death 4, which, as you remember, I can't do with Skrulk. But I've got so many of these research items that I'm not able to use my mages to do exactly what I want them to do, because I pretty much need to have them researching. Like Skrulk, I had to stop sacrificing here this turn and just do research, because otherwise I'm going to waste some of these research items that I've got. And so it's going to be great to have the Revenants next turn. That's more or less everything that's worth talking about, I think. Nothing particularly else going on, so I will see you next turn.